Hey everyone, welcome to our exploration of Brazil's amazing history. We're going on a journey through South America to learn about Brazil's past, from its first people to its modern cities. We'll see how indigenous cultures, colonial times, and even samba music shaped Brazil. Get ready to explore the Amazon rainforest, the exciting streets of Rio, and everything in between. We'll learn about the people who lived here first, the arrival of the Portuguese, and how Brazil became the country it is today. So get ready, let's go. Long before Europeans arrived, Brazil was home to many different indigenous groups. These were the first Brazilians, and they had their own languages, traditions, and ways of life. We know from archaeologists that people have lived in Brazil for at least 11,000 years. These early inhabitants likely came from Asia and created communities all across Brazil. Some were hunter-gatherers in the Amazon, while others were skilled farmers in the south. They lived in harmony with nature and developed complex societies, beliefs, and art that are still amazing today. Understanding this early history helps us appreciate Brazil's rich culture and the influence of indigenous people. In 1500, everything changed. A Portuguese explorer named Pedro Álvares Cabral, on his way to India, landed in Brazil. He claimed the land for Portugal, which changed Brazil's future forever. The Portuguese brought their language and culture, but they also wanted Brazil's resources, especially a special wood called Brazil wood used for making dyes. They built settlements and started trading with Europe. Sadly, this also meant trouble for the indigenous people. European diseases made many of them sick, and some were even enslaved. 1500 marks both the discovery of Brazil by Europeans and the start of a difficult time for the people already living there. After Cabral arrived, Portugal took control of Brazil. They built sugar plantations and forced enslaved Africans to work on them. This made Portugal very rich, but it was terrible for the enslaved people. Sugar became the most important part of Brazil's economy. Millions of Africans were brought to Brazil against their will to work in harsh conditions. Portuguese-born people were at the top of society, while indigenous people and enslaved Africans were treated very poorly. The effects of slavery and colonial times are still felt in Brazil today. It's an important part of understanding the country's social problems and its fight for equality. Section 5, Independence Day, declaring freedom in 1822. After being ruled by Portugal for a long time, Brazil declared its independence in 1822. This happened because of things going on in Europe and because Brazilians wanted to govern themselves. When Napoleon invaded Portugal in 1807, the Portuguese royal family escaped to Brazil. This made Brazil more important in the Portuguese Empire. When King John VI went back to Portugal in 1821, his son Pedro stayed in Brazil as regent. But problems between Portugal and Brazil, and Pedro's own desires, led to Brazil declaring independence on September 7, 1822. This peaceful revolution made Brazil a free country, with Pedro I as its first emperor. This was a huge change, starting Brazil's journey as an independent nation. Section 6, the Emperor's New Clothes, Brazil under Pedro I and Pedro II. After independence, Brazil was ruled by two emperors, Pedro I and then his son, Pedro II. This time brought big political and social changes. Pedro I wasn't very popular, he was bossy and fought with the Brazilian parliament, so he quit being emperor in 1831. His young son Pedro II became emperor at only 5 years old. Adults helped him rule until he grew up. Pedro II ruled for over 50 years, and things were mostly peaceful during that time. He helped Brazil become more modern, building roads, schools, and supporting the arts. But some people wanted to end slavery, and this caused problems that eventually led to the end of the empire. Even with its problems, the time of the Brazilian Empire was very important for the country's future. Section 7, Stepping Out of the Shadows, the 20th Century in Brazil. The 1900s brought huge changes to Brazil. The monarchy ended, industries grew, and there were times of democracy, and also times of dictators. Ending slavery in 1888 was a great thing, but it caused some economic and political problems that weakened the monarchy. In 1889, the army took over and Brazil became a republic. The early 1900s were a difficult time with economic problems, social unrest, and unstable governments. Getúlio Vargas was a powerful leader from 1930 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1954. He made some good changes for workers, but he also controlled the government too much. From 1964 to 1985, Brazil was ruled by a military dictatorship, a time when people's rights were violated. But the economy also grew a lot during this time, though it came at a cost. The 20th century, with all its ups and downs, shaped Brazil's political landscape and its fight for fairness and democracy. Section 8: Brazil Today, a global player. Today, Brazil is the biggest country in South America and an important country in the world. It has a strong democracy, a diverse economy, and a rich culture. Since becoming a democracy again in 1985, Brazil has worked hard to improve people's lives and make its government stronger. The economy has grown, fewer people are poor, and the middle class is bigger. But there are still problems like inequality, corruption, and environmental issues. Brazil is still working to overcome its past and build a fairer society for everyone. Even with these challenges, Brazil's exciting culture, beautiful nature, and strong economy make it a powerful country in the 21st century. Section 9: Looking Forward, the Future of Brazil. Brazil is at an important point in its history, with both opportunities and challenges ahead. How it deals with its problems and the changing world will shape its future. Brazil has many young people, lots of natural resources and growing technology, which can help it grow and develop. But it's important for Brazil to fix its social problems, protect the environment, and make its democracy stronger. The decisions made today will determine what Brazil looks like tomorrow. By learning from the past, celebrating its diversity, and using its strengths, Brazil can create a better future for all its people. So, keep watching, because Brazil's story is still being written.